welcome. I think we can begin. Stop sharing the screen because what we also appreciate is having a bit of a, to the extent that it is possible through Teams, have a human contact. So at least you see each other. We see each other, and together with me, I'm Luigi Lopiparo, the matchmaking coordinator of the Smart Cities Marketplace. And I'm very honored to be here with my colleague, Lucia Rakocevic. Lucia, please, if you can say a couple of words. We work together.
Hello, hi. My name is Lucia Rakocevic. Yeah, indeed, I'm also from Smart Cities Marketplace. And I'm within Smart Cities Marketplace responsible for the technical assistance one-on-one consultancy. So if you guys have any questions on that during the presentation today or during this webinar, please feel free to ask. Thank you. Nice to meet you all. Yeah.
Since we are not too many, can you please maybe just quickly tell Lucia and myself from which organization you come from, and or city and country, so we can try also and tailor a bit the content. Stefan, do you want to begin?
I can start if you want to, that I do. I can start.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate.
I come from company IT Compass. We built up a smart city marketplace for events and local collaboration from that area, and this is why we are interested now in this session here. Maybe to find out how to scale this a little bit or how we can improve it.
Okay, can you please kindly repeat the name of your organization because I didn't hear?
IT-Compass.
Okay, thank you. Roman, would you like to go next, please?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. I come from Prague, the Czech Republic, and I represent the company VDT Technology. The company is on the market already for quite some time, working mainly with municipalities in the Czech Republic, and one of the municipalities, which would be Ústí nad Labem, that's a roughly 100,000 inhabitant city.
Okay, Christina, welcome, and please can you just tell us a couple of words about what city or organization you represent, and also the country. If you can hear me, Christina, please.
Yes.
Ah, lovely. Thank you.
Here we are.
Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. I just jump into the water. I'm representing Germany, and I'm coming from HFT Stuttgart, Hochschule für Technik Stuttgart. This is a university, and we do a lot of research regarding smart city solutions and things like that. And a colleague of mine just forwarded me the link to this marketplace, and so I'm just curious what's about. So
the word of mouth is working as well, which is interesting and very good. Thank you so much, Christina, and very pleased to have you here with us today. Zara, would you like also to kindly tell us which city you come from, or organization, and the country?
Hello. I'm not from a specific organization. I'm just attend at this webinar by myself, just personally. I'm a researcher of smart cities, and I was curious to know that how a smart marketplace can contribute to my area of research.
Okay, very happy to have you here also, and if you don't have any questions, I mean, happy to try and address them.
Maybe where do you come from?
Yes, the country.
I attended from Canada, but originally I'm Iranian.
Oh,
okay, good, thank you. But you're calling from Canada now?
Yes, actually no, at the current time I'm in France, and yeah, I'm here for a couple of projects or something like that.
Good. Okay. Anestis, I guess from Greece or Cyprus?
From Greece. From Greece, from the city of Katerini, which is in the northern part of Greece and very close to Mountain Olympus. I could show it, but now it's raining. It's an unhappy day for us in Greece and not so usual. Anyway, I represent PyTech, which is a company dealing with a startup, in fact, with extended reality applications, mainly for culture, tourism, and for the city. Our last project was the augmented reality of the city of Katerini, with the name the 12 Gods of Olympus, which is...
Okay. Thank you so much, Alexis,
So,
and welcome. And then we had another Stefan also, who can maybe kindly say a few words about which entity you represent or city and country you come from.
Yeah, sure. I make it very easy for you. It's not that we only share names, we also share companies. So I'm here with Stefan Auble, who also already told you about our company.
Good.
And we come from a small city called Donsdorf, which should be known to Mrs. Rehm probably because it's near Stuttgart. So also from Germany. And yeah, as mentioned, we built a smart city collaboration platform, and for us it's always interesting because we have a lot of cities as customers to get to know more options for funding and financial support for those cities. So that's the main reason why I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you. This is all very helpful. I assume having the same name is not the recruitment criterion. Just
no,
to have optimal efficiency.
Not more than
everyone
to
replies. Okay, so now I'm gonna get back to sharing my screen, and we can, Lucy and I, let's say, introduce you to the universe of universe of the European Commission's initiative called the Smart Cities Marketplace. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Do you see it well, Lucia? Is like full screen, or is it the presenter's view? All right.
Yes,
so
we see. Yeah.
But
title,
Luigi, could you minimize the Teams
minimize
image? Yes.
Is it better now?
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you, Vanessa. So the voice you heard is our very precious, one of the colleagues of a very precious team that assists us and make, among many other beautiful things, also this webinar possible today. The other one is working in the shadow, and it's Sabine, and I thank you, Vanessa and Sabine, already for your help. So it goes also in the record. So the title of this webinar is the Urban Transition Challenge. Then there is the year. The year because actually it is the edition of this year, but there was already with a different denomination and edition last year. A few words to break the ice about what it is. Basically, the within the largest world event for smart cities, which is the Smart Cities World Expo Congress, that will take place at the beginning of November in Barcelona, and this is a regular, let's say, event. The Smart Cities Marketplace, together with many other European initiatives and stakeholders, private, public, and from other sectors, will join and exchange on how basically to make our cities, not only European, but also globally, smarter and more sustainable. So the Smart Cities Marketplace, it is dedicated to accelerate, as I will present later, this ongoing effort that both cities and businesses and other, with the support of other stakeholders, including universities, are doing. The organization of the event, notably of the Urban Transition Challenge, is because we are partners in the organization of the Congress, and we partnered with Axio, which is basically an entity, if you want, of the regional government of Catalonia. So just to give you an idea about the scene that we will have in Catalonia, in Barcelona notably, which will be also EU wide with last year, I don't remember how many thousands of people from different organizations participated, and that there is always a series of events. And our purpose with this initiative that we are presenting today was to launch a bit of a challenge. So the challenge being, let's find some cities or consortia, so cities with, let's say, other stakeholders who have a problem and want to engage or are already engaged in finding a solution that can be in the area of clean energy, in the area of sustainable mobility, or of digital applications to achieve, let's say, reduction of the emissions, a reduction of the carbon footprint of some activities, making the services smarter in the areas that I said, overall contributing to fight climate change and achieve climate neutrality. What the added value of the Smart Cities Marketplace is for all of you, and also cities which today I understand are not necessarily represented, will be explained also later. Okay? Do you have any questions already about this? Then this presentation will be shared, and because we have, I think, your email addresses, and also the recording, I think, will be provided to you shortly. So just maybe to set the scene about the why. Why do we need initiatives like the and your commitment and engagement into these, let's say, addressing these challenges? The EU Green Deal, I think more or less all of you will know what it is, sets the ambition of, acknowledges, first of all, that we are at a tipping point in with, let's say, the balance we have with regards to our impact on the climate, on the planet, sorry, and obviously on the climate, and then we need to do something about it before it is too late. So the member states, the European Parliament, so basically the co-legislators at the European level all agreed after long discussions, but let's say trying to sharing the final purpose to do something concrete and allocate resources at European level, and also design policies at European level and initiatives like this is Smart Cities Marketplace to make of Europe the first climate neutral continent by 2050. It was a very ambitious goal. This was then political, let's say, was then enshrined also in binding targets with the European climate law. Money was allocated through funds. Now I don't bother you with all the names of the funds. And also there was attention to make sure that in this process, in this transition towards climate neutrality, no one was left behind because of, for instance, small and medium-sized cities have less means, less capacity, less knowledge than large or larger cities. And so there is an attention to ensure that also those who are more vulnerable can still benefit from these, let's say, targets, from these resources allocated. Although there is a lot that has been done already, a lot of positive, still the science tells us that the pace and the scale of this effort, it is not enough. We need to do more. We need to do more together. And we need to do more also from the bottom up. So basically what is lacking a bit is the capacity to move from an engagement, a political commitment that may be a major science, and then the reality of having initiatives, projects that materialize this commitment into actions that would lead to impacts in terms of reduction of the emissions, for instance, okay, and improvement of the climate. What is jeopardizing this effort at city level are some recurring barriers. So they don't have enough money, or the access to the money is difficult because they are too small and they cannot negotiate feasible terms for instance, a loan that they would need. They do not have the human resources, the capacity, the skills, the knowledge to understand what the the problem is, or having understood what the problem is, what are the technological solutions that are best suited for their territory, their industrial sector, their business, their community. The responsibilities are fragmented. Perhaps the problem is at city level, but the region has the legislative competence, the power to decide, to say yes or no, and to mobilize the resources. There is a disconnection between strategies and actions, so lack of consistency, and the phone is not ringing in the right place. And sometimes also the private sector is not committed, sees their, let's say, agenda materializing elsewhere, and is less inclined to cooperate because of maybe lack of prospects in terms of revenues with the public administration that would have the role of, let's say, triggering the action. Okay, I'm sure that most of these resonate with the experience that you live. And for your information, this comes from a survey launched by an initiative called Net Zero Cities, which is another sort of platform at European level, striving to also, let's say, for the same purpose. The Smart Cities Marketplace intervenes into this domain to support and to accelerate the ongoing effort. So it does not focus on cutting-edge technologies, for instance. What is the innovation that we need to produce, to solve the problem? For this, there are other initiatives, also in programs at the European level. What the Smart Cities Marketplace does is, what is that is more or less ready, more or less mature, that we can support so that it happens. Okay, so it is more on the off-the-shelf kind of projects, just to also be on the same page with regards to the scope of the support that we provide. Or maybe there is already a demonstration project, a concept that whose value has been proven, positively of course, with the capacity to be replicated or scaled up. And there is a lack of, for instance, knowledge, a lack of funding, a lack of competence or else. And then, to the extent that it is possible, the Smart Cities Marketplace, and we'll tell you more in a second about this, engages. And obviously also, we have the role of sharing information, inspiration, guidance about what other communities are doing at local level in other parts of Europe. That can be guiding also your choices with regards to investments, with regards to, let's say, request of technical assistance, etc., or of peer-to-peer learning. Notably, with an inclusive approach, of course, but the priority of the Smart Cities Marketplace is put on small and medium-sized cities, which is where, let's say, most of us have our home. So that is why focusing on cities makes sense. And that's also where most of the, there is a lot of purchasing power that can be mobilized because of the share of the European population that lives in small and medium-sized cities. We do not act alone. We are at the center. The logo you see, a bit of a blue, green, yellow, and orange rainbow, sort of, is us, is our logo. And we are not at the center, but you have to see this as a 360, like as a sphere. We orbit together with other initiatives like the Covenant of Mayors, the Covenant of Companies, Scalable Cities, Net Zero Cities, and many others like Civitas, all the ones you see here, to do with complementarity this kind of support in the areas of buildings and energy, so it's clean energy if you like, digital solutions for climate neutrality and sustainable mobility. We have a network of investors who can offer different type of products, loans, rents. They can work on a concession with different volumes going from some thousands of euros until millions in all the parts of Europe. We have 18. It's an expanding at the moment, an expanding network. And they are basically connected to us because we, when the initiative was launched some years ago, started the dialogue with them, and they told us basically one of the issue is that cities don't speak the same language of financing institutions in most cases, so it's difficult to conclude, to make a deal and agree on a loan or on a funding when they are lacking some information that is essential in their eyes to see when they will be getting the return of their investment, for instance, about the business model. And then this kind of facilitation of the dialogue is another area where the Smart Cities Marketplace, with our team that operates in all the member states and beyond, is capable of helping our target stakeholders. So who are they? Cities mainly, but also consortia of cities. So there is, for instance, a city plus a technical developer, which can be a private company, basically maybe the provider of the technical solution or technological solution. And then there can be university and there can be other entities. So we are not restrictive at all in determining the eligibility to the services that I will present in a moment. What matters is that we have at least a written letter of endorsement of the project that you want to receive assistance for, that is signed by a mayor or a person with the legal authority to represent him or her. So the approach is inclusive, focus on small and medium-sized, which is up to 100,000 inhabitants, but also larger cities are very welcome. And then also, if you are a business, as some of you are here today, you can also, let's say, contact us and already proactively find the city with whom to cooperate and then receive the assistance and participate in the other services that we offer. Last but by no means least, investors are also among our potential beneficiaries, because not only they are connected, matched to you when it comes to requests for funding and financing, but there may be the case that you have a project, for instance, you have already started a pilot, it went well, you want to implement the same concept refined to a larger scale, for instance, not only in an area in the suburb of your city, but to the full city or to a larger part of the city or to other cities. And well, in some cases you will need money, and in some cases investors like also to be involved in this kind of planning to cover the financial parts of the deal and make sure that everything is, let's say, ready with the moment they have, let's say, to contribute with their resources. Still, I haven't mentioned the most important thing, which is the why. So what do you win? What's in it for you when you cooperate with the Smart Cities Marketplace? First of all, we help accelerate what you're doing, when obviously it falls in the eligibility criteria that I mentioned. So you need to have at least one city endorsing your project in writing. And then you need to be in an eligible country, and there is also all the clarification with the list in the guidance document that will be given access to through this presentation later, etc. We need to have an idea of what we want to implement, so then you cannot just come and say, I would like to do something. You need to have an idea of what the project is, even if it is a not fully mature idea, then we can help accelerate it. But we do not create the idea with you, we accelerate what already exists. We can refine it, okay? This must be very clear. Then the second aspect is obviously the gratuity of our services. They are totally free of charge. So whatever financial, technical, or governance related or legal assistance in the technical assistance plan we decide together to provide to you, you don't have to pay anything in terms of money. The only thing you need, because there is obviously a cost for you, is the time you have to dedicate to receive, let's say, the services and to make sure that we tailor them correctly. Which leads us to the third advantage, which is the personalized, basically, service that you receive. Plus, there is also the access, facilitated access to the network of investors. You have the capacity to engage with them in events, we call them matchmaking events, and then in webinars, and also in financing masterclasses that I will present also later. It's all either in person or online services. And they are also, we are organizing already some of them, of these workshops in Barcelona or in preparation to Barcelona, so to the let's say provide assistance in preparation for the within the context of the Urban Transition Challenge. And then we also have networking sessions to learn from peers, to find a partner, to exchange ideas, and we also organize peer-to-peer exchanges. These are basically the list of the services that I just mentioned. The only one I haven't, actually two, is the deal meetings, which is basically once, if you are in demand of access to finance, facilitated access of financing and funding, the moment we help you meet an investor with a pre-assessed investment plan that we have helped you refine with our technical assistance, and we share it with an investor, and there is an interest from their side, we make organize a meeting, a physical or virtual meeting between the parties involved. Then also this is something that is very appreciated and very let's say useful, concretely useful for you to let's say break also a bit the dependency from sometimes the timing of the public funding that not always corresponds to let's say the urgency of the problems you want to solve. It has let's say it offers many other different benefits, but with this Smart Cities Marketplace we can work on both sides, so you multiply your options. And then the probably most significant meaningful type of services that we provide is what Lucia is leading with their team that involves many experts and basically engages into understanding, first listening to you based on the application that you send us, hearing what are your needs, telling you what we can do, agreeing on a plan, on a timing, on a concrete scope, on concrete results of the assistance, and then within a reasonable time, so usually it is within 6 months, you get what you need. Basically, you get your gaps addressed with the help of our experts that may also include their deployment on site at your premises, or let's say at the city premises, or where the need is, let's say, within the project environment, which is something unique. You will have noticed that we do not provide any money. So this is true. There are other initiatives that do that. I mentioned earlier, we move with the spirit of complementarity. So this is basically, I think, where we know we add value, and then we work also in cooperation with the other initiatives. And if there is, we understand that your projects or your problems could be better served by another EU initiative, we already have our internal channels to reorient you to them, redirect you to them, so that you don't have to go through the process again of application in most cases, but we try to also make your time worthwhile. Talking about time, the application that you need to, if you're interested, of course, fill in to engage, to join the Urban Transition Challenge, you find it on our website. There will be all the links in the presentation that you will receive. And perhaps, Lucia, I kindly ask you the favor of putting it in the chat as we speak, if Vanessa has not already done it. So maybe you can already take a sneak peek while we discuss. And then once you find the link, you will see that you have to also register to a brokerage event. A brokerage event is basically a platform for networking, if you like, where you say who you are, what you do, what your business or city or other entity is interested in, what you are in demand for, and what is your availability time-wise. And then the platform allows a matching of interest, so that during the days of the Smart Cities Expo World Congress, between the 7th and the 9th of November in person, but then also, I think also a bit before and beyond online, and with us throughout the year, then you can have, let's say, this engagement concluding or beginning a cooperation. You can choose between physical meetings or online meetings or both. For instance, last year we were some days, and this year will be the same, in Barcelona personally, and then some other days when we had to come back to our respective, let's say, offices, we were still connected with the stakeholders online. If you need any help to fill in the application is as user-friendly as possible, but it will take some time. It is tailored in a way, designed in a way that the more you know, the more you will be asked for. So, for instance, if there is a progression, if there will be a question like after you describe your project, do you have an idea of how much it is going to cost? And then yes. Then if you say yes, okay, but then how much? Okay, and then if you say the how much, okay, but then what kind of resources have you already identified, if any? You see, just to give you an example. And the guidance document, also it is all available on our website, gives you a good introduction and some clarifications about it.
Well, the two things that he went over is basically handbooks, which we have produced that are supposed to be, they're written in really language that should be understandable, not Brussels centered, but language that should be understandable by different stakeholders, and they can be on different topics. So we have, for example, on electric vehicles, on buildings. Now he's already going into technical assistance, but anyway, on electric vehicles, for example, on decarbonizing transport, on heating and cooling. There is different aspects where we try to bring closer the different technologies. He also mentioned those are available on our website. Maybe Luisa Vanessa can later add here the links to those. Aside from the material that we're developing to be accessible, because, for example, if a city contacts us and they're not yet with a specific project and they're not really sure what to do, then we try to help them with these sort of booklets that we have. The help desk is there for anybody, cities, businesses, different stakeholders to reach out to us if they're not sure how to, let's say, organize either how to fill out the intake form or where to find information, what are the activities that we're having, because as Luigi presented at the beginning, we have, for example, this, we're participating in this forum in Barcelona. We participate in different forums. We have webinars and workshops where we present, for example, there is financial master classes where we try to explain to the cities how they can apply for different support. And then the next slide, I think he was showing the technical assistance. That's the solutions booklets. I already mentioned that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so one of the examples I said at the beginning that I work together with Luigi on this project. And I'm leading the part on the technical assistance, where we provide, let's say, technical assistance a few months to the cities. They come with a specific project. It's typically for the projects that we say they already have some sort of idea of what they want to work on. And then it goes towards, okay, there is last things that they need before they go to the investor or the funding agencies. An example of that, for example, we're working currently with the city of Bydgoszcz in Poland, and they have already identified 10 sites where they want to put PV, and they want to use solar energy to produce hydrogen. That eventually they would like to transform their public transport, their buses, to hydrogen buses. So at this point, the project is still not exactly concrete. They cannot still go to the investment to say, okay, we know exactly where we want to do this and exactly what we want to do. So we're helping them define which site would be the best, understanding what are the different technologies, what is the capacity they can actually get with the electricity that they have, what is possible, what kind of bus fleet they could cover with that capacity of hydrogen. Do they need where they can do hydrogen storage, what makes sense not only from technological but also from the economic point of view. And I know in the presentation, Luigi mentioned a couple of times that we focus on the cities the smaller cities, so less than 300,000 inhabitants. Yet we, of course, do not say no to the bigger cities if they come to us with a specific proposal. And we also have some examples, for example, in Spain, where we have a private company, because I know a few of you are also from private companies, where a private company is coming together with the city to work on a solution. Yeah. So, for example, for the electrifying of the public transport, that's an example that we have currently in Spain. And also, it's not only limited to the EU, but also to the associated countries. So cities from associated countries from Europe can apply. Is there, yeah, this is more details. Okay, I didn't know he put this detail, but this more details on the Bydgoszcz example. And then this is preparation for the upcoming Barcelona event. So there will be two tailor-made thematic webinars. One is happening on the 24th, and that one will be discussing decarbonizing mobility in cities in a more general term, whereas the second one on the 26th will be discussing using hydrogen and hydrogen integration in smart cities. And then finally, there is an in-person workshops happening in Barcelona on 8th of November, where we'll be presenting what is it the Smart Cities Marketplace does, also presenting how there'll be a person there who will be helping to follow the intake forms and also apply. And that's also where the cities could hopefully go to the help desk. We really tried with the intake form to make it as simple as possible. But yeah, there is always questions for that. And then the financing masterclass, as I mentioned earlier, there is this events that are happening around the Barcelona event, which Luigi mentioned at the beginning. We'll close with a financial masterclass, which is being planned on the 16th of November. That is open to everybody, and it's happening online, I think. And we have a lot more events, that are coming up. I think with that, I close the presentation that Luigi started really well. And I'm hoping we'll still hear from him for the rest of the event. But this period is more open to questions if you have any on all of this, on the scope, on any specific activities. Any questions are welcome, of course.
Well, maybe if I can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. You mentioned that the registration to the brokerage event has to be done latest by November the 1st. Does this apply for the application as well? Because there was no date with the application.
Yeah, exactly. So the call for application has opened April this year. And we're keeping it open for the coming period. So it's basically this project goes on until the Smart Cities Marketplace current version, let's say, goes on until 2026, and we keep it constantly open. So we have a continuous intake of applications. which I guess could maybe discourage cities because then there is no clear deadline. But on the other hand, with this, we're really trying to be accepting of different sort of timelines the cities have. Yeah. And then as the way that we do it is that as the intake form comes in, then based on that, we communicate to the city what we see are the best sort of fit for support. Yeah. And for example, if a city really is aiming to apply for the one-on-one consultancy, we still...
Okay, so I just would like to say something I was thinking when we did the presentations, and it was very useful. You will have realized that the main focus is on cities, but this does not mean that you can be active in contacting them. It's certainly whoever of you works with cities in a way or another have contacts, and you can mention the fact that there is this initiative where you could cooperate with them for whatever project you have that makes sense and falls within the scope that Lucia and I presented. It's good also to be active to succeed in this difficult challenge of accelerating the transitions of cities towards climate neutrality. We also need to be proactive. Okay, that's basically the kind of invitation I wanted to say. Is there any other question?
Maybe I can just add as the call for application, which was the question. It's not only for technical assistance, and I think Luigi mentioned that, but just to accent that is for any sort of support that we have. So while we have some, as I mentioned, webinars and workshops, which are constantly open and they're open to public, you don't have to necessarily apply for specific support like the meeting today. Yeah. If you want to get a tailored support, then we suggest that you that the city fills out, or you fill out together with the city, the intake form, so that we get a bit more information, and then within the experts that we have, we can discuss how we can best support you. Yeah.
And it makes sense in any case to be in contact because, as I mentioned, we also have other services within the Smart Cities Marketplace that are knowledge-oriented in terms of, for instance, the solutions booklets that I mentioned, and then we have also other ways to share knowledge. There is database on projects on the website that may be useful for you to research, and then find maybe an idea for a good project, or tell someone that there is what is happening. As Lucia mentioned, again, not necessarily you need to be in demand for funding or financing. Not necessarily you need to be in demand for the full package. Okay, when I presenting the services, stressed the fact that the services are tailored and that they're not imposed, but they are proposed, provided that you have an eligible concept that we can work on. So there is at least an idea what you want to do, of where you want to do it, with the endorsement of the city that is within the eligible EU scope. Then we have several offerings that we can agree to propose. Okay. All right. But then last chance to Roman, please.
Well, once again, I'm sorry.
You don't need to. I'm very happy that you have questions.
Yeah. As I said in the beginning, we are a private company, but we would like to join in as a consortium with one of the cities. Once we have their approval, we then put together the conceptual document. We send that to you, and you try to mix and match us with somebody else on whatever side. Is that how it works? And the second part of the question would be, would that work to meet somebody in Barcelona or throughout the time to 2026?
So let's say that it is partially correct what you said. Definitely, the first thing is that you need to tell us more about what you intend to do and who you are. And for this, we need the application to be sent to us. To us, It does not mean physically only Luigi and only Lucia. We have obviously much larger teams, depending with covering all the possible expertise that may be required to be able then to assess the, let's say, technical solutions and needs and gaps or financial ones, or governance-related ones or legal relevant ones that we can offer you to help you with within the scope of what is possible for us to do. The matching is with, for instance, a peer or with an investor is one of the manifestations of this tailored assistance. So if we see, either because you demand it explicitly and we agree, or because we see that it would add value to accelerate your project that is ongoing or your project that you are making it more mature, then we may suggest, for instance, that if we see this as being the gap, you apply obviously to the service and then discuss about the details of having you involved in a peer-to-peer exchange, for instance. But it may also be the case that this does not happen, for instance, because we believe that before providing deploying a team or some experts to your to help you in detail on some specific aspects, other preliminary steps need to be taken. For instance, participating in a webinar dedicated to the topic. For instance, participating in a networking meeting where we find you a partner that we believe the addition of which will make your proposal more and your meeting an investor more fruitful, more likely to provide the outcome of having an approval for your request for funding and financing. Then, you know, we would need propose to go stepwise in that direction. It depends very much on a case-by-case basis, but our let's say the way we work is in a cooperative way, in dialogue with you, with obviously not endlessly open, but structured dialogue, in a way that we can serve as many and as well of the target stakeholders as possible.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Also, don't be passive. Like if you have questions before you send the application, as I mentioned, there is the help desk. So you can either send us an email through that one and you will receive an answer shortly, or consult on the website also the guidance document, or do both. Is there anyone else? Please.
Maybe
Lucia.
I shared in the chat the link for the application, but I also saw that Vanessa also shared more links. But yes, there, if you go, there is an option just to apply, and that's the intake form. And as Luigi mentioned throughout the presentation, we try to make it very simple. But then, of course, if you know more information, then we ask you for more. So it's you can see how it goes, but it shouldn't be too complicated, indeed.
There is to prepare you. It is not compulsory, but it is recommended to prepare you for the application. We have developed a project maturity level self-assessment tool. This long name, it means basically that it is a quiz with questions that answering these questions, you have an assessment based on your own questions, answers of how we are likely to consider mature your project. So how mature your project is going to be considered. What you put there, because this will be one of the questions in the application, will be checked again. But obviously, the higher you go, you know, it's like to avoid a bit of bias. Like if they ask me, how good are you? If I'm humble, I would say, or like self-confidence, I would say I'm really bad at everything. So I would put I'm more below, close to the 1, the lowest level of the maturity of my project. If I feel overconfident, then I would maybe go towards the 6, which is the top. And then, you know, if my assessment has not been done objectively, or let's say in a way that is verifiable, I would have lost time, because then the team, so basically Lucia and I and the team, will get back to us and say, well, you know, although you said your project was very mature, in reality, you're missing the information on the CapEx, on the OpEx, on the net present value. You don't know where it is located, you don't know what technology you want to use, you don't know who is involved, you don't have the letter of endorsement from a city, so you're more closer to the one. Or the other way around, well, why are you saying that you start from scratch? You actually have almost everything. We can put you on a fast track if you want to meet a suitable investor and already discuss about solutions for funding and financing, you see. In general, the reality is a bit in the middle, but I think, yeah, I just wanted to try to encourage you to use this Excel tool. That is, you find the link also in the website of the application, so that you can start, let's say, on the right foot. Okay, so I think there are no other questions. Whatever you may think of, feel free to contact us. And on behalf of the whole team, I really thank you very much for your questions, your patience with my troublesome audio apparently, but the lovely voice of Lucia was certainly better than mine. And we hope to maybe see you in Barcelona and or to see you in another moment. We also have in-person events around Europe. We were in Germany this year already. We are organizing workshops in Portugal. If you follow us on the website, on all the social media that you find link to in the presentation, you will be able to be the first to know as soon as we can maybe close to you. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a very lovely rest of the day, and let's stay in touch.